Hello, welcome to the Meet Your Future Self Soul Art Visualization. I am your guide, Laura Hollick. I'm an artist and the creator of the soul artwork. And on the journey too, I love diving into creative, spiritual journeys and processes to get that next level insight and vision. And right now, as so much is happening on the planet, it's the perfect time to connect with our future, our amazing future, and to help us magnetize us through these transformational times. I want to welcome you. Let me know in the comments where you are in the world so we can, feel the global energy. I see Nova Scotia, Ireland, New Zealand. Hello, welcome. I see Carrie, Claire, Phoebe, Grace, Suzanne, Harmony, Peters, Sagita, I hope I said that right. Rebecca, Jessica, so happy to be here with you today. I'm so excited about this. Malaysia, South Wales. Amazing, amazing. So we are in a wild time on the planet. And really, I don't even know if there's anything comparable in human history to where we are. We're at a point of massive transformation, right? And it's like, when we look back, say at like the Renaissance or the medieval times, people have a way of understanding that time because time has passed and you see it within the context of like, oh, wow, that was happening then. But at that time, people may not have fully known what they were going through. They're feeling the rumbles of that experience. And right now, as we're going through what we're going through, I'm so curious, like, how will people view this like 100, 200 years from now? Because this time very well may be it like the turning point of humanity on the planet, civilization, right? How spirit embodies the human in this reality. So I feel like the future is a guide for us at this time, something to help us to see like a clue, because it can feel so insecure, so unstable when we can't control what is happening because we don't know. It's a transformation, something new is coming. And when you don't know, it's like, can feel very unsettling. And so to be able to connect with an aspect of the future, to give us that sense of like, something that is pulling us forward, I feel like is a powerful thing of this moment. So, well, let's dive into it. What you will need for today, hope you've got your journal. If you want to print it off, that's great. If you don't want to print it off or you're not able to, that's no problem. Just have paper, like loose paper or a journal of some kind. There are questions in here that we'll go through some of them, but there'll be some that you can play with on your own as well. And this is just a place that you can house all the things that we do, but loose paper will work fine as well. I love having a journal though, because, it's like just a way to organize it. And then we are going to be doing a soul art visualization. Okay, so soul art is a unique creative process and really approach to art and creativity, where we're using art and creativity as a way to connect with spirit, as a way to get vision, insight, healing, transformation, vision. And so we're going to be using soul art process with visualization. So whatever level of art skill you have, work with it. Don't worry, have whatever markers or any art tools you want. Crayons are fine, pen, paper, paints, whatever you've got, you can work with that. If you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do a stick figure, that's cool. You can do chicken scratches. It's totally okay. And if you're like, you know what, I'm a seasoned artist, I got this, then just go with what you have, right? Like we're in the season of being resourceful and being creative, using what you have and working with that. Okay, so we will be doing some very simple sketching and creative process. So just have like whatever tools make sense for you. I love working with markers because it's just very easy, direct, and good colors. But you can use what you want. And then of course, just like a pen so you can journal a bit as well. So I want to start off, and I really want to hear from you too. So feel free at any point to be putting like comments in and things like that. We're going to go into a process. I also have a new thing that's coming that I'm going to be sharing at the end, something pretty exciting, I think, that I will share towards the end, that kind of just like what's new that's coming at Soul Art School, Soul Art Studio for myself as well. So I'll be sharing that towards the end. And we're going to go into this process It's something, have a comfy space for yourself, carve out this time. You don't want to be interrupted, right? Like you don't want to go into the vision and suddenly like you got a beep on your phone or something. Like turn the other tabs on your computer off if you're on the computer, or just anything you can do to give this to yourself. Because once we enter into the journeying part and the visioning, you want to feel like you can go there and you're not going to be tugged out by something. Okay, of course, life can happen. It's okay. But do your best to give this to yourself. All right, because really, the deeper that we go into these journeys, it creates like a root system for the further you can go out. Right? Like we go in, we get these deep gems and visions and insights, and then you get those, and it's like they're inside of you, and you can live your life with them. So we want to get like the full power and capacity out of this. So do what you need to do for that. We're going to go for approximately an hour in our process. So I want to look at like what drew you to this? What drew you to want to meet your future self? All right, you can journal about this. You can share it in the comments. I'm going to share a couple of things of what drew me to this and see if any of this relates to you, but, add your own. I can feel the energetics, and maybe you can too. And I have felt for a number of years, I could feel the rumbling of this under the surface. I could feel the cocoon starting to form around me about 5 years ago. And as it was starting to this cocoon was starting to form around me, at first I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm starting to go in, I'm going into a cave. And I started to seemingly retreat. But I knew I was like going into something, and things started to shed, things started to kind of minimize in certain ways, and just kind of starting to let go of what I didn't need anymore. Almost, it was like a type of a death process. And I was going through that and feeling a little bit like fighting that a bit, because not totally sure, like, do I really want to go through a death process? And I mean a seasonal death process, a life season. Do I really want to go through that? And I was resisting it at first. But as I started to sort of slip down into it, I bit by bit surrendering as much as I could, as much as I felt capable of. And it was interesting watching the mirroring of what was happening in the world, because systems, structures, things starting to go into that death cycle, that season of a chapter ending, something completing. And in that process of something completing and wanting to complete, almost like written in the stars, wanting to complete, feeling like almost like a life review, reflecting on all of the things and what did I want to carry forward with me? What did I want to carry forward? And it kind of has, this has been years in the works, but brought me to this point where it's like, wow, I've done a lot of the past reflecting of like looking at the past. And I just started to feel that tug of, okay, now it's time to start to look for what wants to be created. Where does this want to go? All of this shedding, what is this cocoon for? What is this cycle for? If there's a cycle that something is completing, what wants to come? And when I started looking out at like, well, what wants to come? It was almost like a bit of a fog. Couldn't quite see it. And for someone who is a visionary type, this was a new experience to me. This was something that I'm like, wow, it really hasn't been written yet. It really is going to be a creation, meaning something that's going to unfold. And I feel like the clues that I started to get were there's almost like light seeds that are being planted now that are going to be growing. So what led me to do this was like, okay, I want to go in deep and I want to do it in community because we are connected. What I am creating in some way will be connected to what you're creating, and what you're creating will be connected. Like it all ripples out. And to go into a visioning creative process together amplifies all of our potential. So, I considered just doing it by myself, but I knew that wasn't the future map, that it wanted to be something in community. So I'm so happy to be journeying with you. I'm so grateful. I want to hear what drew you to this. Why are you here? Why do you want to meet your future self? You know, it could be because you're terrified and you're like, what's going to happen? Or it could be like, you know what? Like, I feel like I'm like going to be on fire with the passion and I want to crystallize the momentum, whatever it is for you. Ruth says, I need to know about my life. Yeah, I mean, there it is. There it is, right? Exactly. Exactly. That's why we go into these journeys, to understand our life, to figure things out, to know about ourselves, to learn about ourselves. Yes. Phoebe says, I want to know that life and my current struggles are worth going through. Yes. To know that I survived it. Yep. You know, and that's why earlier when I was saying, you know, I wonder in the future, how will this time be viewed? Right? Because there will be a story told about this time. We are living the story. We are like creating the story. But there will be a time when people speak about this time and reflect on it and tell a story about what this time was. Right? And, you know, are our struggles worth it? Right? As you're saying, Phoebe, it's like, yeah, I mean, the meaning that we give to it is how we decide what's worth it. But when we can put things into a certain perspective, from a soul perspective, which we're going to be going into today, then we understand a bigger meaning, a bigger purpose, and it starts to give, you know, meaning to the struggles for sure. Sally says, I feel like there's something more, but I don't know what it is. Yep. Yep. Yes. That's the exciting part. Yes. Joan, very much have done loads of shedding skins and now moving into momentum of creativity, and the lair of the fire horse resonates deeply. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I think of that fire horse, it's like I feel that sense of there's going to be a momentum, a passion, like think fire, a passionate momentum. And so tying in with what we're doing today, if we know where we're going, like we have a sense of it, maybe it's not all laid out, but we have a sense, it ignites something that we can put that momentum in motion. We can get it going. And isn't that the best feeling, to just be like, imagine like a wild horse, riding a wild horse, you know, like amazing. All right, Marlene says, I am immensely curious about my uncertain future and want to know how to best navigate this uncertainty. Exactly. Yeah, I totally get it. All right. So we're going to be going along just a couple of questions. The purpose of these questions is to start to understand why we're here for yourself, defining that for yourself, but also to get an intention. So when we go into the deeper journey, you have laid an intention for yourself. Now, the bigger intention holding this whole experience is for you to meet your future self and for you to access the spark of inspiration that's going to be a magnet pulling you forward. That's the intention that's holding this process today, okay? But I want you to get an intention that has specific meaning for you, all right? So the things that drew you to this probably relate to whatever's happening in your life. And I want you to feel safe to be able, for yourself, you can do it in the journal, to acknowledge whatever, if there are struggles, challenges, you know, what is happening in your life right now. Because the struggles aren't for nothing. The struggles are things that get our attention and kind of awaken aspects of ourselves. Right? The challenges that come, when I look back in my life, every challenge that I've had, although at the time I wish it would go away, it was like, don't want to deal with this, but they don't just go away. And thank goodness on a deeper level, because then we are called to discover who we can be. And, you know, sometimes we're called into deeper healing. We're called into these deeper things, deeper learning, discovering something, or we unlock a new part of ourselves. So I want you to have a chance to acknowledge just the real nitty gritty of the struggles. Okay. And I want to do this not to dwell into, you know, a struggle, but I don't want to bypass it either. In my own life, I actually get very relaxed when I feel like I can just be what I am. And if I'm dealing with something and it's difficult and I'm complaining about it, I want to just be able to just be, something about that is relaxing, to just feel what you feel, you know. And yes, you can move on and things can happen, but just let yourself have what you have. So taking a moment, and if you would like to share, you can share in the comments, but taking a moment to just write down kind of if there are any current challenges, things that your current life experience, you can go ahead and speak to that. And within that, I'm just going to be saying some things and you're just like kind of journaling about these various things. Current life experience, current struggles or challenges. And because of that, truthfully, how do you actually feel about the future? How do you actually feel about the future? And it could be a mixed bag. It's okay. It's all right. All right. Chumisa, what a beautiful name. I hope I said that right. I want to reactivate my creativity that just died. Hope we'll be able to also learn some visualization. Yes, well, you're in the right place. I'm so happy you're here. Megan says, I feel like I know what I'm here to do. I just don't know how to fulfill my purpose. That's interesting. It sounds like you just don't know the how, but you know what it is. It's just how does it happen? Okay, I get it. I get that. All right. Janine says, I knew that it was time to move on from my past traumas and from being boxed in to what everyone else thinks I should be. I am tired of being unable to breathe. My energies have been blocked for so long. I want to be the person that I am meant to be. Yes, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. So you brought something up there about this idea of being blocked, and I actually want to go to that because what we're going to be doing is actually connecting this with our body. And this is one of the things that's actually super unique, I feel, about soul art, the work of soul art, is that, yes, we are connecting with soul. We are connecting with spirituality. It's not religious, it's like spirituality, connecting with the higher self. And at the same time, we're living a life and we have a body. We have a physical reality. We're here on earth. And so in the soul art work, it always includes the body, the physicality, the real life experience. Because really our soul we're here for an experience in this human life. We're here to have this unfolding of this experience. And so we want to be connected with soul because that's really like the home base. That's really the grounding. And yet it's not to float away and be off in another realm. It's to be able to integrate that here. And so the way we experience our body gives a lot of information about how we are actually experiencing this world. And so we're going to be doing part of the process today to create the container and the space for the visualization is we're going to be doing a little body mapping. Okay, so body mapping is one of the soul art processes. If you're in the certification, that's level 1. Body mapping is where we actually use the body to kind of give an entry point. And so as you're noticing whatever challenges are coming up, I want you to see if you can notice where in your body is it living? Like, I think someone mentioned about, can I breathe? It's like, is it in the lungs? I notice for me, sometimes I get this bracing feeling that happens in my thighs. I just sort of like brace and log down. Okay. So we all have different ways that our body experiences and responds to life. And rather than trying to skip over that, I want you to actually notice where and what is that in your body. Okay. So I'm going to read just a couple more of the comments coming through. And as I'm reading that, starting to think, where in your body is this? Okay. And then we're going to body map a bit of that. Sally says, my current life experience is ordinary with a lack of purpose, going through the motions to keep the harmony. Sounds like your soul's wanting to come in, right? Like our purpose, sounds like soul is like knocking at the door there. I'm so happy that you are here, Sally. You're in the perfect spot for exploring this. Sabrina says, I think the best is yet to come. 45 mom of a 2-year-old, lots of changes happening, but sometimes my body doesn't believe it. I want to feel it to give me faith in the future. Yeah, I hear you. And congratulations. 45 and a mom of a 2-year-old, so at 43. Congratulations. Sue says, I have shed a lot and recently moved into a new flat. I sense a new beginning and calling, but awaiting for it to reveal itself. Art, healing, peace, writing, question mark. Yeah. Okay. All right. So whatever challenges are coming up, or, that kind of bracing with the uncertainty, however it is, I want you to see if you can notice where on your body. So I had mentioned for me, my thighs. If you want to share in the comments, like where on your body, or maybe it's something like deep internal, like maybe it's in the digestive tract. Maybe, you feel constipated. Maybe you feel like, or brain fog, or, it could be anything, teeth grinding. It could be anything at all. And see if you can just identify. Jessica says, I feel the tightening in my chest. Okay. I'm full of anxiety because I feel stuck and blocked. Nothing is moving forward. I am literally in limbo. I hear you. Okay. So chest, right? So from that, I pull out chest as the area. Okay. So just as Jessica was describing there, sort of see where it is. Okay. And I want you to name a spot. Like Noreen says, my neck, so painful. Okay, so the neck, maybe there's a specific spot of the neck. Is it the side, the back, the front, the whole neck? Kelly says tight neck, another neck. Okay, where in the neck? See if you can spot that. Jeannie says, trying to find balance between my heart and my head. Yeah, interesting. Maybe that's the neck as well. I feel inspired to create, but also cannot help but worry constantly. Yes. Phoebe says, a weird feeling in my stomach, shoulders are very tense, and I feel like I can't take deep enough breath. Okay, so sort of stomach to, well, that could be like diaphragm as well, depending on where you feel the breath is coming from. Jeannie says tight hips. Betsy says my head and scalp. Okay, this is awesome. All right, so I want you to just make note of that part of the body. And I actually want you to, you're just going to jump ahead and to the page 11, gateway number, page 11. And I want you to body map, and I'll demo kind of as much as I can, the area in which you're going to trace. Now, body mapping is we actually trace that part. So if it's your chest, and you can do this symbolically, you just have a little paper, kind of put it in front of your chest. And then just with your paper, you're going to like mark the sides. If it's your neck, maybe you go like this. And you mark the sides. If you can lie down, you can do it that way. It can be simple and symbolic. Don't worry about any kind of perfection. We're going for representation. You want to have that body part. You want your body to know, I hear you. I'm not ignoring you, and you're going to be included in this journey. And you want it identified. Okay? So whatever that part is, I'm going to be doing my thigh. I'm going to sit on it, so actually you can't see this, but I'm just putting it under my leg. And I'm going to trace it. See? I'll show you when I've got it. Okay. There we go. That was my leg. I just sat on it there, just put it under my leg, and I just traced the edges. This doesn't mean anything to anybody else. And so when you're doing this, the purpose isn't like to now have this thing that's like, oh, anyone else is going to know what it means. It's just that you know what it means. Okay, so I want you to have some kind of a tracing of the body part, even if it's like a weird, obscure part. Like if it's like the third bone in this part of the foot. You trace it in a way that you know what it is. Okay? All right, awesome. All right, so just let that be. And so you can kind of just, I'm just going to stroke my leg and just kind of be like, okay, like, you know what? You're going to be part of this process today. Amazing. But we're still going to get an intention. Tabitha says, ribs and my yoni. Ooh, that's cool. Lots of ways you could trace that. And you can use both, but see if you can, if one feels a little more than the other, then you just focus on that. But if they have to be both, it's okay. But there's lots of ways to trace the yoni, lots of ways to trace the rib cage. Okay. Bonnie, hey Bonnie, nervous system. Ooh, now that's a cool one. That's fun. Oh yes, I'm curious with your creativity, Bonnie. I know you're going to find a cool way to body map that in some way, represent it. Maybe there's one part of the nervous system that really kind of acts up, then trace that area. But really, the nervous system is everywhere. So I'm going to let your creative. I'm curious how you're going to work with that one. I know you can do it. Diane says knee. So the right or the left knee, or maybe both. Megan says my diaphragm for one facet of life and the crown of my head for another. Okay, interesting. Chimisa says upper stomach. Yeah, that's like, so, and it's so interesting too. Like when we have a feeling, we know where things are. It's like the upper stomach, right? And I know in my own thigh, it's like, oh, it's this part, and this is how the clench feels, and this is the brace. Like we have these things that our body goes into these patternings, and it's really some form of communication. But there's layers that we have to kind of unearth to understand it. And then there's, a journey with it to like, well, what does it want to say? And what does that require of us? And on and on. So, all right, this is great. Alva says eyebrows are in particular in between. Oh, okay, cool. Makes me think of Frida Kahlo. Okay, so we're going to keep going with this. All right, so with whatever challenges are coming up and you've just body traced that area, that's great. Often when we have something going on, there's a question that really can only be answered because we have that challenge. And the question is, it's like, well, what do you actually want, right? Like, what is the transformation you're seeking? And we can ask that question because we can feel, it's like, oh, wow, like I'm clenched, I'm bracing. What I'd love to feel is fluid or like we kind of understand what we want because of it. So I want you to be able to see if you can identify, like, what is it that you're actually desiring? What are you actually desiring? Okay. And you can just write a little bit about that. What do you actually want? Is it peace? Is it ease? Is it a sense of safety? Is it inspiration, right? What is it you actually want? I just got a feeling from that. Okay. Wonderful. And then from that, what is it that you would like to know from your future self? So let's say today you get to meet your future self. What is it you would like to know or understand or learn, see? What questions do you have for your future self? Okay, and there's a spot in the journal that you can write that down on page 9. Oh, whoopsie. No, it's page 8. Page 8. And I heard some people already saying that they're, wanting to meet their future self to kind of know either how's this worth it, or how to navigate this time. Those are kind of questions like, how do I navigate this? How am I going to get through this? What do I need to learn? What questions do you have for your future self? One of the questions that I have that I'm excited to go into this with is, what is the story that you will tell of this time? What is the story that you will tell of this time that we're living now? That's a question I have for my future self. Of course, I want to know about the future. I want to know what it's like, but I want to know what's the story you will tell of this time, of what this time actually means. That's a question I have. Okay. And now from all of the things that are coming up, from the challenge, what you're desiring, the questions you have, what's your intention for this journey? And an intention is just a simple statement. It's like, I am entering into, this is maybe a longer version, but I'll say it for explaining it. I am entering into the soul art visualization to meet my future self, to tap into my future vision. Or it's something like, it can be just as simple as like, to find safety and security, to know what to do now, to know how to be now. It can be anything. As one statement or words that like, what's your intention for the visualization that we're going to go into? Okay. And you can just write that down, and that is on page 10. There's a circle and you put it in there. And again, it's not about perfection. This is about naming what matters to you so that as you go into your vision, it is shaped and sculpted by your own intention, your own direction. And even the questions that you have for your future self, that in itself could be an intention. Like, how will you tell the story of now? It can be something like that. Layla says, I am embracing my emerging self. Yeah, cool. And that can be your intention, right? Wonderful. All right, so let's take a moment to get an intention. You know what? If you're like, I don't know. It can just be, my intention is to meet my future self. Okay? It can be that simple. Okay, I'm going to share with you what my intention is. I am meeting my future self to understand who I am now and where I am going. Kelly says, help me love all of me. Noreen says, full body wellness. Excellent, excellent. Okay. And there's one more piece that we're going to do before we go into visioning and imagining. Now you have created a body tracing here of an aspect of really your current life, of where you are experiencing some kind of challenge or a symptom or something like that. Now I want you to also include in this body map, I want you to include something that is going to help to represent the future self. And this is going to be the pituitary gland. Also, you could think of it like the third eye or the pineal gland, but basically we're going to include a body tracing somewhere connected on the same page as this one. So we know that these two are going to be interacting, your current self with this future self. Okay. So the pituitary gland, it's in like your brain, right? It's like behind in here. You can think of it as kind of being connected with the idea of the third eye, that chakra that's also here in the forehead. And I want you to find your own unique creative way that you're going to body map and include it on here. Okay. And again, it's like, a little bit awkward, but you can do it and find just a way to symbolically that you're including this aspect of yourself, this ability that can vision, that has a much broader consciousness. It's a little tricky with all the butterflies, but I can do it. Okay. All right. So you've got on a paper, you've got the body map here, your current self, struggle in some way, and something representing the future self, the pituitary gland. Okay, you can just put that down, but have it close to you so that as we go into the visioning, if you do want to sketch or write something down as it comes up, you can. Just have a piece of paper handy so that you can do that. I will give you opportunity to do that as well throughout, but it's going to be like eyes closed if you're comfortable with that, whatever allows you to go in and it's kind of going on the journey. Okay. All right. So I invite you to close your eyes if it is comfortable. And just noticing how you are breathing. It's okay, whatever it is. We've already moved through a couple of things, bringing awareness to different aspects of yourself. And just noticing how you are. And I want you to take a breath with your root. Okay, with your root. So if you're in the female body, like with the yoni, and a breath with the root is kind of like you're inhaling through the root and you're exhaling through the root. Okay, so just try that, just like you would breathe in through your nose and you would breathe out through your nose. I want you to imagine you can actually breathe through your root, through the yoni. Just breathing through. So you're going to inhale and exhale. Okay. And there's no right or wrong or anything with this. It's just allowing that the breath can come into the root. And as you're doing that, I want you to inhale through the root. And then on your exhale, it's almost like I want you to drop an energetic kind of root. And this root is going to go down into the earth. So again, you can sort of inhale, and then you're going to exhale, and you're going to like drop this root, allow a root to go right down through energetically down into the ground, wherever you are, down through the floor, whatever, if you're on like in an apartment, all the way down, 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 right to the earth, that this energetic root is going to go down almost like a grounding kind of anchor. It's going to hold you connected to the earth. And just allow your own imagination to see this energetic root going down. And maybe it's got a certain texture to it. It's got a life to it. And with your imagination, just notice when it actually reaches the ground and starts to go into the ground and feel that support, that it is connected. It's connected, and you've got a root connecting you. You've got like an anchor that's going to hold you connected to the earth. And once you feel that, I want you to just rock a little bit so you can actually feel it. Really, it's an energetic root that is connecting you. So move a little bit to sense that there is that connection. And now with your imagination, just like you were breathing in through the root, this time on your inhale, with that support from the earth, you're just going to like pull up energy. You're just going to pull up energy. And again, just letting it exhale and go down. And on the next breath, you're going to allow that energy to rise. Right? So we're going to do it together. So you're inhaling. And you're going to allow this energy to rise, and it's going to rise right up, going right up through your body, way, way, way up. And you're going to travel up with it. Like you're just like going way up. And with your imagination, I want you to go like way up, right through the ceiling energetically. You're going to go through the ceiling. You're going to go into the sky. You're going to go up through the sky. And you're going to go up into the atmosphere. And you're going to go up into the atmosphere, and you're going to go through the atmosphere, and you're going to go into space. And this is with energy. Your imagination, you're going to go right up into space. You're going to go up into the galactic realm. Just allowing your energy to go up. Now you're still connected way down, but you can just travel way up. And you can use your breath to keep letting you go up higher while you're still connected. And you're going to find yourself way up in the galactic cosmic realm. And you can just like sense around, and there is like galactic energies. There's stars, and there's nebula, and there's shapes, and you are in the galaxy. And let your imagination start to sense this galactic realm. Maybe you see colors, maybe you see stars, constellations, shapes. Now, while you're way, 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 way up there, I want you to look down, and there is an energetic thread, like a light thread that connects you way down, and you can see it. It's like a star way, way, way down there, and it's a star, and it's you. It's you that's down there, living your life right now. I want you to just look down. It's just like a light. It's just a spark of you down there. But you're going to watch it from up there. You're going to watch it from up there. And as you look down, you're going to see a light that is you in the moment of now. And in that light, there is like a seed of just you, the true essence of you. And it is held in that moment. It's like a seed in there. And you can sense and see that seed because it is actually it's the light. It's the light is emanating from this seed that is in you down there. Like a soul seed. And in that soul seed, there is light and the frequency of who you really, really, really are. The essence of you. Now, stretched out in front, there is a timeline. There is a timeline, and it is lit up by the light of that seed. As that seed starts to grow and its energy, its frequency, its essence comes out, there is a timeline of its path. And from way up there, you can see it. You can see it. There is a light path that stretches out like a timeline. And it is the path of your soul, your essence that is growing, that is unfolding. And it's making like a river, like a timeline of light. And from up above, just like you're in an airplane and you see kind of the electrical grid, if you're landing a plane in the night, you can see a city and you can see those lights, the electrical grids from way up in the cosmos. And you look down and you can see there is an electrical grid of your soul's path, just lighting it up. And I want you to follow it along like it's a river of light. And you're just watching it from above. And I want you to follow it along so it gets to a point of about 3 months into the future on this timeline. And just as you're looking at it, there's something that's going to kind of reach the 3-month. And I want you to just see that light on that timeline, which is your soul's essence moving along. I want you to see a symbol that light just turns into. Some kind of a symbol at that 3-month point. Just how does that soul's essence, that's a seed inside of you, how is it moving along at that point, around 3 months? And just allowing with your imagination, allowing that light to take shape into some kind of a symbol. And if you want to jot that down, and just trust whatever it is. Maybe it's just a color. Maybe it's an energy shape. Maybe it's a pattern. Maybe it's a feeling. Maybe it's an actual object. It's just a symbol that's forming in light on your timeline at around 3 months. And now again, you're up in that galactic realm and you're going to look down and that light river of your timeline, it's moving along. And it's going to keep flowing and flowing and going to around 6 months. And just notice how the light takes shape at 6 months. And again, just you're going to see some kind of a symbol, allowing that light turning into some kind of a symbol. You can sketch that out or just enjoy looking at it. And from way up in that galactic realm, you're going to watch that light rivers continuing to flow along, and it's going to go 1 year into your future. 1 year into your future. And you're just watching it from above. Just watching it. And now that seed that started, that's been moving this light river along, it's starting to pool with light. It's starting to get... There's something happening there. And you're going to travel down and you're going to have a look. What is happening in that pool of light? And I want you to, with your imagination, I want you to go and explore that pool of light. It's around a year in your future. And just noticing if there's any symbols or something that your future would like to give to you, would like for you to receive. And you're just watching that from above. And maybe this future you actually offers something up to you. And I want you to receive something from that year in the future. Maybe you're seeing things, maybe you're sensing things, maybe it's just poetic communication, symbols. Maybe it's just energies, shapes, colors. Remember, the future is not necessarily the same as how we understand things, so let it communicate in the way that it is. And let your future offer you something, a symbol, a gift. And from way up in the galactic realm, you are going to receive what that is. You are going to receive that, whatever it is. Might not make sense right now, and that's okay. And once you've got that energetics of the light from the future. I want you to hold on to that. And you're going to start to come back. You're going to come back. You've got an anchor of energy that is going to bring you back. And you're coming back to above where you are. You're going to be traveling back down. You've got that line that's there. You've got a root and an anchor that's holding you back into this earth moment. And you're going to let yourself travel back, and you've got a gift from the future. You've got an offering from the future. And coming back and just following the energy right back down, right back into your body. Feel that energetic root that's holding you from the earth right in the moment where you are. And coming back into your body and just taking a breath, and you can kind of release that root that was holding you. It's always still energetically there, but just allowing it to loosen in this moment and just kind of feeling yourself in your body and just touching your body. So you're like, wow, okay, I'm here. And I want you to take a moment and just, you can write down or sketch out anything that came through. Getting your notes from that, receiving what came through. And the symbol or offering that came to you from the future, you're going to add it or offer it to your body map in some way. So if it was a symbol, you're going to add it. You're going to just integrate it in some way. So taking a moment to do that. And allow yourself to just trust yourself, even if you don't fully understand it yet. Work with what you have received, even if it's just a little twinkle of something. And with your own creativity, just starting to play with whatever shapes you had put for your body map, the pituitary gland, and then whatever came from the future, just seeing how you can start to create with that. Anything that's allowing, you can just doodle with it. Okay. So I would love to hear anything that came through for you with that. There's a lot that came through for me in that. And yet there is a real simple surprise as well. I'll just share a little, but I would love to hear from you as well. So I had sketched my thigh, which there had been a bracing type feeling, and then my pituitary gland. What I received from the future, it was very strange. It was just so direct. It was this pearl. So I received the pearl and I brought it back and I placed it in the center, and I just felt like the thing was like its shell, like the thing was its shell, but the shell is allowing, and that sort of what makes a pearl is the sand, the grit. Like it's like a year in the future, basically for me, the sand and the grit has created a pearl, basically, is what I felt. Okay, so it might be in a symbolic language, but allowing yourself to just kind of receive what it is, receive what it's communicating to you. This is your soul's language starting to speak with you. Camby says, oh, wow, I am a seasoned meditator, yet had a profound experience during this session. Thank you. A beautiful shift just happened. Oh, I'm excited for you. Amazing. Layla says, 3 months money, 6 months cat, 1 year window, new view. Fascinating. Fascinating, right? Okay, so this is something that you may want to be with. I am going to be putting this up somewhere to spend time with this, almost like a map. Like this in itself, I already am feeling the map downloading. It's like basically instructions on how to make a pearl in life. I feel very excited about that. And so I invite you to spend some time with it and to look back at what your intention was and kind of like start to, dialogue with the things coming through. Now, ultimately, where we are right now is in like on the planet and kind of like the energetics of what's going on and why so many of us are feeling this kind of these mass transformations and the grit that can make the pearl and the struggles and the things that are happening is that we are literally entering the butterfly era, our butterfly era, right? There is a transformation happening. Now, something that I shared at the beginning that I'm going to be sharing, some cool stuff that's going on. And what I would like to share with you is some cool stuff that's going on. And it's about entering your butterfly era and creating your future, your best future. And you are the creator. And whatever struggles and challenges are happening, they're not there to take you down. They're there to, help you make your pearl. And entering the butterfly era is, going through the alchemical process of creating the next version of yourself that will have the same essence, but be a new form, a new expression of yourself. So I am going to be leading a 90-day Create Yourself Soul Art Journey. And this is the alchemical process to actually go through, harness the energy of this time. I really feel like when we look back at what this time has meant, this is our point of alchemical transformation. And going through this time, this is us becoming, our version of the butterfly of what is your next highest expression. Now, there are fears to go through. Those fears are there to help shape you to reveal things that want to be alchemized, to get to your next level. They're the training ground. They're the ingredients for the alchemy, the metamorphosis. So in the 90-day Create Yourself journey, this is something that's happening in Soul Art School. And I'm going to share, you can look this up. And so you have the link if you want. I'm going to talk about it, but you can look it up. It's a magical experience. So the Create Yourself journey, it's part of Soul Art School. The web address for this is soulartschool.com/create. And this is a creative spiritual journey for you to become the next highest version of yourself. And we are going into creative spiritual processes we had a taste of it today. It's like a little taste, but going deeper into connecting with your soul to get the next level soul codes of who you are becoming, who you are creating, those soul codes. Today we got, like a glimmer of that. But the soul codes are the things that propel you. They're the things that when they land in you, it's like, you say, oh, I got this download. It's like you got a soul code. You got like this energetic light bundle of intelligence that wants to be created, wants to become. And there is a feeling that happens when you get a soul code. For me, when at different points in my life, when they come, it's like I'm on fire. It's like the fire horse. It's like, oh my gosh, the passion, the inspiration that gets ignited. It's this fresh energy that comes through and it's like it wants to be created. And your soul, we get these at different points in our life. We get these kind of downloads. We get these access points where we kind of get the next levels coming through, right? And there's ways to access that. And we're going to be going into a soul art journey so you can get your next level soul codes. Because when you get those, it's like you just like, you can move mountains. You can move mountains. There's really 3 essential elements in a transformation process, in a, going through this metamorphosis and this alchemical, like entering the butterfly era. The first aspect is accessing the next level soul codes. Because without that, it doesn't matter what actions you do. If they're not infused with your soul and your purpose, the actions are just like flat. They just kind of like, oh, you're like just doing something. But it doesn't have this energetic momentum to it, right? So the first aspect in creating ourselves, entering the butterfly era, is you get those next level soul codes. And they'll be different than the soul codes you got 10 years ago, 20 years ago. It's still your essence moving along, but there's like new ones coming on the planet now. Accessing those. That in itself is probably, I feel, almost one of the most important things that we can do in our life now, is get that access for ourselves, get connected. That is being resourced, getting the information of why we are here. What are we, like all of that. We got pieces of it today, a little glimmer of that. But there's full-on soul codes. So getting those. And then there's another of the essential elements in creating ourselves is deepening your primal root. Again, we had a little taste of that today, where it's like we want to experience this in our life. This isn't about, just living in soul realm, because then what's the point of a physical experience? Right? So as we deepen our primal root, we create more space in the physical body. It's like a cellular upgrade in a way. But there's no purpose really in doing that unless we have those soul codes. So we know kind of what the body wants to up level to hold. How is it being reshaped? It's being reshaped by your light, your soul, and your purpose. So deepening your primal root. And these are like physical ways of getting the soul into the body. So we're going to be going through that. We're going to have a whole session on that. And then the third essential element in the creating yourself process is aligning your body and soul. And I think that this is like, it's like we're in that hiccup right now. You can call it a limbo place. It's that little hiccup point where it's like, New things are wanting to come through. The changes are happening. The speed is happening. The energetics are kind of amping up. Our body doesn't know how to fully process it all. And so that's, we are learning how we are adapting to having more light in our body, adapting to being able to have more soul in our body, right? That's the deepening of the primal root. And then the aligning of our body and soul is where it's like, oh, wow, I can live my soul's expression and being here in this physical body, being here. And that's the butterfly. That's when you've emerged, you unfurl your wings and you're like, whoa, like I'm like a new form. That's the create yourself journey. So in this 90-day create yourself journey, we are going to be going through those essential elements, the getting your next level soul codes, deepening your primal root. Oh my gosh, so your body can actually handle this time, and not just handle it, but actually be like elevated by all the extra energy that's coming through. Deepening that primal root, and then aligning your body and soul. So you are a force of nature. And it's like when the feeling that just the glimmer that I got, and the question that I had for my future self is, what story will they tell of this time? What is the story that will be told? And it's like, basically, how did we enter our butterfly era? How did we become the pearl? How did our soul crystallize and polish to the point that we could see the crystal that we are? Right? Like that, I feel, is the story of what will be told of this time. But that doesn't happen without going through a process. That is a transformational create yourself process. And so I want to invite you, if you've been feeling all of the crazy wild energies of this time, your transformation is already being activated. Now, the Create Yourself journey is the place where you get to actually, go through it and actually, find your way through it in a way that you become the next highest version of yourself. Okay, so I invite you to join this. This is a 90-day journey. And when you sign up for this, we're doing these different soul art sessions, whatever level of art skill you have. We do creative processes and, deep journeying and that processing of the spiritual energy with the physical. We're doing sessions on that. The journey also includes times where we get to connect as a group and talk, and we gather in online, right? But in real time where, questions that are coming up for you, and I can offer intuitive insights, and you can share and speak what's going on and kind of be in community going through the journey, right? So there's times to connect. And then also when you do sign up for the Create Yourself journey, it's part of Soul Art School. Right. So there are people who are already in Soul Art School, you're already doing this journey. And those who are coming in, you will get access to all the things in Soul Art School, which is just like a treasure chest of transformational tools. I mean, from workshops and rituals and journals, and you'll have the 90 days to explore and play with that, and art making sessions, and whatever you feel like exploring, that'll be available for you just as a bonus. That is just a bonus. But we are doing a deep Create Yourself journey. All right. So I want to invite you to join us in this. This is such a special time. This is something that is setting up really the next decade of your life. And that's no joke. That is no joke. Setting up the next decade of your life. It's like, imagine you are like a new baby. Give yourself a beautiful nest to grow and develop in. And the Create Yourself journey in Soul Art School is that beautiful space to go through this process to become this next expression of yourself. All right. So I invite you to sign up. We are starting this journey on March the 4th. It goes for 90 days. And there's currently a early bird savings on this, which is a huge deal, huge savings. Check that out. Go to the link soulartschool.com/create. The early bird savings ends very soon on February the 28th, and then we start on March the 4th. All right. So I hope you will join us. I'm so excited about this. I cannot wait to get started. I feel like we activated something today, made contact with a future energetics, and there's so much more to explore with this. I cannot wait. I just want to spend time with this, and I'm so excited for you and whatever came through for you today. And I hope that you will continue the journey to create yourself and enter your butterfly era. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Such an honor to be part of this journey with you and co-creating the new paradigm. We're all doing it in our own way as each of us becomes the next best version of ourself, who our soul is wanting to become the next version. That contributes to everyone. So you being you is giving to the ecosystem, right? You being you is what empowers everybody. And so I'm so honored to be on this path with you. I am becoming my next version of myself. I'm entering my butterfly era, and I want to, flutter in the forest with others who are also ready and wanting to become their next version of themselves. All right. So I'm just sending you all so much love, and I hope to continue the journey with you. Thank you for joining me today. Lots of love to you. Bye for now.